What Poe qualities do I personally identify with? I definitely feel the artistic struggle. So I'm also a spiritual person and feel drawn to energies beyond sight, and be that God or the universe or whatever way Poe and I shared our belief in some higher powers. So and I believe in making the art and the work of doing the art. And would I like to? And I can feel how Poe struggled to be a full-time artist, because baby, it's hard out there in the real world. So nothing has changed. It's just as hard. And you know, the artist struggled. I guess Mr. Poe, by accident of birth, he didn't really come into the kingdom. He was fiery, I'm fiery, I've got a fiery temper. You know, I can feel that about Poe's struggle with the unfairness of life. A friend of mine said, there's no reason why life should be fair. Who said life was fair? And I suppose in some ways, life wasn't very fair to Edgar Allan Poe. Really, like he lost his parents. He got shipped out to a man who promised to do more for him. And I guess as a working bee in America, I know false promises. You know, I can understand that you can work very hard and not get your full measure of reward. And that can be hard on the soul. When I'm channeling Poe, it's more emotional, definitely, for the purposes of the art, more dramatic and overwrought, and certainly full of gestures and trying to be full of something and powerfully represent it. So it feels more melancholy, and I'm more upset, and I'm on the verge of tears sometimes. So normally I'm not hanging around being on the verge of tears. Sometimes I get quite emotional doing this, and I let it go, and I'm very lucky to be collaborating with somebody as amazing as Blue Bliss, who I feel safe with and can just let it all hang out, and I just try and let it all hang out. And so I'm not saying it's fun, but it certainly is in the moment. When we visited the Poe cottage, Poe lived in the Bronx for some time, but the spirit of the man he was definitely there. And so while I was in the cottage, I could find information about him by looking around, or sort of, I'm a very intuitive person, so I can kind of feel or put myself into a situation. So I can use my own history as an artist and as a human being, as an Irish person, as a person who struggles with art and to make art and to communicate and to make a living and to have a family and to find love and responsibility and affection in this world. So I can bring my humanity to another person's human struggle. I've read about Poe and try and put myself into his shoes. The physicality of this work, I do like to have totems. I like to have Poe's words nearby, and I sort of, I kind of could use the phrase, kind of I chew a little bit on a certain phrase, and also seek direction to say, well, what could I be doing in Mr. Poe's life right now? And then I would put myself in that situation. So I'd have his words to think about. I'd have a historical situation, or that would be feeling current, and then I would bring my own feelings to the current situation, say. So for example, we did a stair. I'm coming home a little inebriated in the Poe cottage. So for that, I was feeling, well, why would he have been out that night? And how drunk would he be? So this is not to spurple the great man's reputation. This is just an example of a particular thing. So I kind of tried to put myself into the situation where he might be a little tetchy after coming home, and so the tetchiness would be there, and also a little inebriation. So I try and figure out what that feels like as myself, because I know how those things feel like, and then display those on my physiognomy or on my gestures or my body. Sometimes I like to look at a portrait of Poe or the bobblehead and sort of have a little chat. I would be able to have a kind of a conversation and then touch the head of the bobblehead doll. And so then when we would be doing preparation or studies, maybe by Skype or by phone, I'd be able to look at the bobblehead doll and in some facetiousness see if the bobblehead doll was agreeing or disagreeing with what was going on. So there was a kind of a third party for us both. It was fun by the ocean. It was great by the ocean. We walked the boardwalk, and next thing you know, Hurricane Sandy came along and blew the crap out of everything. So, historically record, it was nice of us to have gone and made some creativity out there before the boardwalk was blown away. So I feel kind of just we got there right in time, you know? And the shots, some of the shots are delicious and beautiful.